Hello, you either work with me or have been directed to this video somehow, but I've been working remotely for the past 4 years or so, and I realize that a lot of people are working from home now. I just wanted to share sort of some of the things that I've accumulated that are helpful so I don't just keep saying this over and over to separate people. So, the first tip that I have to say is just probably one that you've heard before, which is just to get up and shower and wear clothes that you would wear into an office or something like that. It can feel like, oh, great, I can wear pajamas now, but really you'll feel like shit after a while because you'll just feel like a mess of a person. So that's really important and it's good for your mental health. Number two, I realize not everybody can do this, but if you can have a separate work area in your flat that you could work instead of the place that you'll spend probably your evening or recreation time or your lunch or whatever, that's really good. Even if it's just a separate area of a single room that this is the place I work in, that can be really good. And the third thing, which is probably maybe the most important, is to take breaks. It sounds weird and it sounds like working from home, like you would be taking breaks all the time. But there's actually this weird thing where you feel like you can't. You feel like you can't take breaks, but you will. It's human nature, but you'll just feel shitty about it. And so the way I always explain this to people about their need to take actual breaks is that if you're working in the office, you will be you'll go and talk to a coworker for a while. You'll go down to have some coffee and just sort of dick about in the kitchen or what have you, or go sit in the bathroom for 15 minutes or something like that on your phone. And so you need to have breaks, and you will have them if you're in the office. So also have them at home. It's fine if you just want to get up from your desk and go and have a coffee or read a little bit of a book or play a little Animal Crossing, whatever. But just make sure you actually take breaks during the day, because you will end up doing it anyway, but you'll feel shitty about it. So better to take it deliberately and actually gain those juicy benefits. And also, unless you're in some kind of high intensity thing, maybe you're releasing a milestone for your game or whatever, you don't have to instantly reply to everything. It's okay. It's okay to just if you're using Slack, just turn off Slack for a while, assuming that nobody needs you. That's okay, and it's good for your mental health to be able to turn off those notifications, because there can be this thing when you start working remotely where, because you're not getting that because you know that people cannot see you physically at your desk, then you feel like you need to constantly be replying to everything instantly, or you need to have everything read on Slack and make all those notifications go away. You don't. You can just turn it off and just focus for a while. Another thing actually based on that is, if you haven't heard of the Pomodoro technique and you're struggling to focus, you don't need to use it forever. I don't use it right now, but it has been useful for me in the past when I've been struggling to focus. To just use it for a while, and that's you work for 25 minutes and then you take a 5-minute break. And there's if you're on Mac, there's an app called Be Focused that's free. You can set up easily. That's really handy for that. If that might be useful to you. Another thing is that if you are finding that you're just spending all your time in the flat, it can be useful to start the day with a walk to the office. And in these corona times, it's stay away from other people, but you can still go outside. You should just stay distant from other people. And so you should you can leave in the morning and go for a 10-minute walk and just walk 5 minutes away and then walk 5 minutes back, and then you start work, and that's kind of your walk to the office. And you can do the same thing in the evening. It sort of breaks up your day, so you're not just in your flat the whole time. As a secondary thing to that, if you can get out and go for a longer walk in the evening or something like that, while still maintaining that social distancing and staying away from people, that can be really good for your mental health. It's really easy to just slide into a depression where you're just staying indoors all the time, but it's important to actively combat that. And another thing that's really good for that is vitamin D. If you're not already taking vitamin D tablets, I know before, if anybody would recommend that I take a particular tablet and it would have some kind of tangible effect, I would always think that they were full of shit. But vitamin D is something that actually works, for me at least. Whenever I started working from home, I was just spending a lot of time indoors and I wasn't getting that walk to the office and stuff like that. So when I started taking vitamin D, I noticed a noticeable uptick in my mood, which is weird that just that vitamin deficiency can have such an effect. But it super does. So Maybe try that, and if you can't find any because COVID has emptied all the shelves, then you can try cod liver oil. Cod liver oil has a lot of vitamin D in it. I take it for joints because I go bouldering anyway, but it could be useful for you if you can't find any vitamin D straight up. So yeah, something that I've struggled with in the past is my weight and like eating, and something that you might find, and you might have no problem with this, and kudos to you if you do, but you might find that you need to be more regimented with your eating when you're working from home, especially if you're getting bored. It's really easy to go to the pantry and the food's all there, and you can just have a snack whenever you want, and the whole office isn't seeing you eat that whole Easter egg or whatever snack that you're having that's not as good as eating a whole Easter egg. So you might find that you need to put in some kind of system. It doesn't really matter what it is, as long as you're being aware that that might be an issue for you is honestly most of the battle. So something I've done in the past is, I ate a small thing at 11, then I ate lunch, and then a small thing at 3, and then I ate a small thing at 5. Then I might not eat until dinner. Now I don't eat until lunch, and then I eat a big lunch, and then I don't eat again until 5 when I have something small, and then it becomes less organized from then on. And it's not necessarily that this will be a problem for you. It's more like it might be a problem, and it's just to be aware of it. I don't have that many more things to say, but I will say 2 more things. One of which is don't eat lunch at your desk. It can be tempting to do that, especially if your computer is there and you want to watch something like a YouTube video, but it'll be good for you if you just get away from it for a while. Otherwise, you're going to kind of spend all day in the same place, and that can be pretty rough. In the same vein as that, the last thing I'm going to say is that if you are going to spend, just say you have a home PC and you're going to play some PC games in the evening, or that's what your plan is anyway, or you're going to do some work on it or whatever. If you also work at that same desk that your PC is at during the day, it can be good to in the last couple of hours of the day just go somewhere else, like go to your dining table or just somewhere else in your flat and work from there for the last hour or 2 of the day, and then go back and then like finish up work, and then it kind of refreshes that your desk, like your main working space, by being away from it for a little bit. So you're not just spending literally the whole day in this one place and this one desk, but you're breaking it up a little bit, and that could be helpful. But yeah, I hope that was useful in some ways. It's just some of the things that I've accumulated over my time working from home, and stay safe, I guess. It's a hard time in the world, and it's a lot of adjustments that people need to make. So yeah, good luck.